Hello everyone, my name is Andy Hopper and I'm a Solutions Architect here at Shippo. Today, we're going to look at how you can use the Shippo SDK to integrate Shippo's services into your own application. For this video, we're going to use the SDK for Python, but we'll also have other videos in our channel for languages like C#, Node.js, and Java. Let's get started. I have here a standard console application for Python that I've created in Visual Studio Code. Obviously, your own application's code is probably going to look a lot different from this, but this will be a decent way to walk you through the process. The very first thing I'll need to do is add a reference to the Shippo SDK for Python. We publish our SDK to the standard PyPI channels, and all you'll need to do is search for the word Shippo. Now that we've installed our module, we're ready to start coding. In order to use the SDK, we'll need to create an SDK object. This is an object called Shippo, and it's in the Shippo namespace. You'll need to supply an API token, which you can obtain from the Shippo API portal. For this demo, I'm using a test token that I generated. Okay, so let's create a shipment. The shipment service is the child of the SDK object. To create a shipment, we'll be calling the create method and passing a request object. To create a shipment, you need at least three things: a shipper address, which will supply in the address from attribute, a destination address, which will supply an address to, and then a list of parcels that are going to be delivered by the shipment. I'm going to use a little bit of Julia Child's magic here to fill these out, and then we'll walk through what's in here. Okay, so I've done a bit of typing to populate these attributes. As you can see here, I've supplied an sender address in the address from area, and I've given it a street address, city, state, zip, country, phone, and email. Incidentally, you can also supply company name, that sort of thing. Likewise, I've also supplied a destination address, and then a list of parcels. One thing I'd like to point out is here in the parcel, I'm providing both the size and the weight of the parcel that's being sent, and you'll notice that I've got the ability to specify the units of both the size and the weight of the package. In this case, I've chosen metric measurements, but you also have the ability to choose inches and ounces and pounds and yards for dimension sizes. Now that we've created our shipment, let's go ahead and log the shipment object ID. This is a common pattern you'll see in our SDKs. We assign unique identifiers, also known in Python as UUIDs, to all of the objects in our system. This is really handy to have on hand if you ever need to reach out to Shippo customer support. Okay, now that we've created our shipment, it's time to go rate shopping. In the returned shipment object, you'll notice that there's a rates attribute. By default, Shippo will automatically return a list of rates in the create response, but if you want to obtain your rates later, you can specify that you'd like the shipment creation call to be asynchronous. You can learn more about asynchronous calls in the API documentation. In this case, we use the default behavior, so let's go ahead and list the rates that were quoted for this shipment. So what we will do is write out a print statement that logs the object ID. There's that object ID again. We're going to write out the provider or the carrier that provides the rate. We're going to give the name of the service level. This could be ground, express, that sort of thing. We're also going to write out the number of days that the carrier estimates it'll take to deliver the package, and then finally what it's going to cost in the local currency amount. Similar to a shipment, the create method takes a request object, and this object, at a minimum, needs a label file type and the rate that we want to use to purchase that label. So in this case, I'll supply a label file type of PDF. And then I need to select a rate that I want to use, and that's going to come from the list of rates that we were quoted above. In my case, I just want to use the lowest rate I was able to find. So I'm going to take the list of rates that was returned by that shipment object and then just sort them by the local price. And once I do that, I'll pick the lowest out of all of those. And then once I have my selected rate, I'll supply that to the transaction create call. Then once we've created our transaction, we'll go ahead and log that object ID. Now, there's one thing to be aware of. Label generation can take a moment to complete. After we create our transaction, it will have a status attribute, and we can check that attribute for whether the transaction is completed. If it's queued, we should wait a moment and check again. And let's fix our module references. Great. Finally, when our transaction completes successfully, we can download our label. So first, I'll just verify that my transaction has successfully completed. And then I will download the label. And in this case, I'm using the URL retrieve library. And you'll notice there's an attribute on the transaction object called label URL. This will contain the URL for the label using the format that you specified. And I'm also supplying a location for the generated label, and I'm putting the PDF attribute on it. Oh, and let's go ahead and fix our module references. Great. Well, that was quite a bit of coding. I guess it's time for us to run our code and see if we can generate a label. Oops, hold on a minute. I just noticed I forgot to supply the object ID on the rate. When you are doing the create call, make sure you're passing the object ID as opposed to the rate object itself. All right, well, let's go ahead and run the sucker and see what we get. And there's our list of rates, and we've got our transaction, and we now have downloaded a label. And as you can see here, I've got a PDF of my label. It's been watermarked with the sample do not mail because I'm using a test token here. So what did we just do? Well, first we installed the Shippo module from PyPI. Then we created an instance of the Shippo object, which gives us the access to the Shippo SDK namespace. Then we created a shipment object. And that, because we did not use asynchronous rating, we went ahead and downloaded a list of rates that we could use. We then selected the rate that we'd like to use for our shipment, and again, I just simply sorted them by how much they cost, and I chose the least expensive one. Then we generated a label, also known as a transaction in Shippo parlance, and then finally we downloaded the label just so we could see the actual final output. So what's next? Well, for you, if you would go to the Shippo API portal and get your own API credentials, if you haven't already joined Shippo, you can go to this URL here and create a Shippo account. Once you've created that account, you can go to the API portal and click on Manage API Tokens, and you can create a token. And like I mentioned inside this demo, I was using a test token. Frankly, that's what I recommend to you. Use a test token during development, and when you're finally ready to start generating charges on your Shippo account, then you can create a production token. If you like, you can walk through the sample code we wrote here. We've got it hosted on GitHub under the Go Shippo Python SDK demo repo. And we also have the API reference URL located here. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you in our other API videos.